I'm sure, as everyone here knows very well, there is a major demonstration this Sunday with the slogans "No Trump," "Say no to racism," "No Muslim and immigrant bashing," "No police violence," "No war." Now, these slogans, the leaflet, the approach we've taken in building this demonstration really reflect in so many ways our whole approach to the class struggle and waging the class struggle. And it is to put the struggle against racism, against bigotry, against reaction, right to the very front, and to try to do so in a way that builds unity and calls for unity in responding to racist reaction. But also to always try to do so through an independent struggle with grassroots organizations coming from below. To never, never rely on, put any confidence whatsoever, or act in a way that puts confidence in either of the bourgeois political parties, or any expectation that they would defend the working class. They exist, both parties, to defend the corporate ruling class, to defend the capitalist system. And so, even in taking on this simple demonstration, we wanted it to reflect a certain approach that we have. Now, Trump alone, Donald Trump, by himself, one more racist reactionary, one more or less, if they were shouting on a street corner, that wouldn't be the problem. The problem is that the corporate media, the whole political establishment, has handed him a platform of speaking to millions and millions, and doing so every single day, where they make it the news cycle, where it's almost the only thing being discussed. It seems like this has gone on now for months, where CNN sometimes, there's nothing else happening in the world except the latest wretched drivel out of Trump's mouth. So it's a platform and also coverage of disgusting rallies of thousands of people in arenas. Those who are really the dregs, I mean, complete reactionaries. We could look at the way they handled the Republican debate this past week, Tuesday night. 9 candidates. It shows their whole approach to the elections. You had 9 absolutely reactionary, each one of them, in their own way, presenting as if all of these were respectable, rightful, righteous views, discussions that are really on making war on the whole world and war here at home, increasing vastly the level of reaction and calling for it, demanding it, as if this is protection and defense of people here against terror, against Syria, against ISIS, against Russia, against China, Korea. And it's interesting, the commentators now, it was a day that, here's the climate conference ending in Paris. They might ask any of them, well, where do you stand on climate change? See, it would have exposed every single one of the 9, would have, told you it didn't exist. You would have seen they're operating in a different, totally reactionary dimension. They could have asked any of these commentators, where do you stand on workers making $15 an hour, or on Social Security, on something that might be relevant to people watching. But instead, it was every single question was so full of fear-mongering. And then, of course, each of them trying to outdo each other, and also have the sound bite, Trump saying, the oil, just take it, just take it. There's a profound policy. But it does show, isn't that the essence of capitalism? Just take it, just steal it. Capitalists have a right to it all. That's what they want to convince us, a right to the planet. So we organized a demonstration this Sunday, one of many, many actions over so many years, and doing so with many forces in a way of bringing them in, getting endorsed, take part in making signs, bringing in others, speaking. How do we build a great deal of unity, and among the activist current, as much as we are in touch with, grassroots groups, some we have all kinds of differences with, others we're right in the same current with, but we want to try to pull them together to be the lead in a struggle against real racist reaction. And it is an approach that we have taken so often in the past. And it is an approach where we know that whether Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton or anyone else, any statement that they make against, for example, the racism of Trump, a call for ID cards and database, and all these candidates all arguing about gathering all metadata possible and so on. Any statements against are always made in a way to reinforce also reaction here. So we can't forget that, and the demonstration that we're organizing is to always say that the workers, the oppressed, need to defend themselves, and the best defense is through unity. And the best defense is forging that unity to stand up to racist and fascist forces. Now, this has actually, with very little resources beyond Facebook and some leaflets, resonated in a very interesting way. There was a TWU worker who got one leaflet, made a copy, made thousands of copies, way up in the Bronx. But actually 6 other also got his local mosque to support. But came with 5 other workers, I believe, to a planning meeting here on Tuesday night. See, so it shows that when you kind of reach out and have confidence in the masses to respond, it's really, we had another call, again, local forces, they got one leaflet and made 5,000 copies, a local masjid on the Lower East Side. And particularly among the Muslim population, there is really a feeling, and particularly in this call for the database and the ID cards, something we should always keep in mind that exists right now for every Palestinian in the West Bank. This is and so it's a living reality for many people, the consciousness, the awareness of it. Our friends in the People's Power Assembly are playing a wonderful role and will very much be there on Sunday. There are many other friends and allies, but it will take everyone here. And so this is really an appeal because there's so many comrades, activists who have done this many, many times.